Beautiful, guys. Whew. I have not been to this location in a very long time. I always give it 60 seconds before I start speaking. See if anybody gets notified. Anybody get notified? Mikey Tyler, how are you? I haven't been to I have a couple locations. I haven't been to this specific location in a while, and I really like this place. Make a long story short, when I came in, it's really out in the open, so you can really see the sky, and then you're pretty deep in the woods. The nearest road's about a quarter mile that way. Have any of you guys ever heard of a designer baby? A designer baby. I, I love technology, but at the same time, like I hate it. Like, um, I actually had a talk today in person about technology, about people and their cell phones. You know, and using them in the same home, texting their kids rather than getting off their butt. Um, when you pass by a restaurant, you just see it could be a couple or it could be a family. It's just unbelievable. But I just want to see if anybody has heard of designer babies. Brian said, okay. Now, I guess it could be moral. Right now, I guess, just say, I don't care how old you are, if you have kids, just say you're about to, or you just find out you're pregnant or about to be pregnant, and your OBGYN or whoever, your doctor, says there's new technology out there. For instance, heart disease. That's like the #1 killer. Don't quote me on that. I believe in America, heart disease. A lot of different families have different diseases. Now, as a doctor, this doctor says, or some families Down syndrome. Hey, this way. I can give you, I could cure that. Meaning there's a 100% chance that your child, and also guys, not only child, I can cure that, but you as a parent, you could pick the eye color, you could pick the gender, male or female, there's only two. And 3, you could pick the height. They sound sci-fi, but they're doing this already. And it really had me thinking, because I'm like, here, humans are playing God again. But I really want to hear from you guys, because, like I said, heart disease, horrible. And I don't have any kids, but I've been around. I have family who are little guys, so basically I was like a second father. So you always want the best for your children, right? From sports, just say if they're playing soccer, some parents put them in a camp, prior to your soccer season, or a football camp, and just always trying to improve your child. So the question is, what what do you got? Is you think it's too soon right now, or do you think it's totally 100% bogus? I mean, picking the gender, the eye color, the height, and knowing your child's going to be disease free is, again, sounds like a sci-fi movie. That's not right. DNA, strange shoes. Now, think about this, guys. Think about right now. I don't know if you guys know about stem cells, but George Bush Jr. he made them illegal. I'm sorry, guys. He made them illegal. So you could go to a country such as overseas or South America and have stem cells. And again, I don't know if you guys know that much about stem cells. Stay. But it's a miracle. It really is a miracle. I actually know a couple people, and now they're allowing some study or some trials here, but not stem cells like if you go to another country. How about kidneys? You know, you could go kidneys. It's illegal in America, but you can. Sorry. As soon as I go live, all of a sudden people show up. Mikey, totally exists. One of this is truth. Back in 2004 in Los Angeles, someone I knew went to a doctor and was given those options in 2004. Oh, 100%. And again, it sounds crazy, but there's a doctor in China who just got jailed because of all the things he made a child resistant or 100% AIDS resistant to AIDS or something along these lines. But just say again, guys, it's kind of new, but it's not. Just like Mikey said, 2004. But now in 2019, just like, you know, cell phones and computers, they're out for business people, but your everyday middle class person, you know, you received a cell phone much later, or at least I did, and the people that I know much later in life. But again, if you were somebody who worked in New York City, you know, you most likely had one of the first computers, where out in the suburbs and middle class, it was years and years and years. So what I'm getting at is right now it is 100% available. Again, illegal in America, but as time goes, you're going to have more and more kids who are superior, who are the not just super intelligent, but just say size-wise, and then you know, most likely with size and brains get a scholarship. I don't know. I just wanted to hear some comments from you guys, because I think it's crazy, but again, at the same time, there will be a time when it's not so crazy, a few years down the road. So yeah, 100%. Genetically enhanced. People are even cloning. Barbara Streisand, she cloned her dog. There's a scientist that I won't mention. I will put it in the comment section after this, but he currently still works for America, and he announced, well, he didn't say 100% yes, but he did not say that there weren't, that there are clone actually humans out there. So, and that's for a whole nother topic, guys. Cloning, that's a whole nother topic. But again, you want the best for your children. How about LASIK surgery? When that first came out, I think I was in high school, and super expensive, super expensive. Now anybody, as long as you have a decent job, you do payments. So that's LASIK surgery, and this topic came up numerous times because for numerous reasons, because you're improving the eyesight better than um, most. Sorry, guys. Come here, go. Mikey says, even athletic build, that was the choice. Correct. Yeah, exactly. I don't know when you came in, but I said you could pick eye color, you could pick the gender, you could pick the height. It's insane. And then at the same time, you can pick, go down the line with diseases. Again, don't quote me on this, but I believe heart disease. You hear cancer, but if I'm out in the woods, guys, if you could Google it, I believe it's heart disease in America over cancer. White papers say cloning has been around. Most technology, seriously. And when I say that to so many people, they're like, "Oh, I didn't have a cell phone back." Blah, blah. Like a lot of the technology has been around, like airplanes, for instance, guys. Yeah, have they changed since the 50s? Yeah, of course. More fuel efficient, um, but they go the same speed as they did in the 60s, right? Yeah, they had the Concorde. Um, Bob Lazar, uh, all these new phones, right? When I say new, over the past few years, most people either have an Android or a iPhone. So again, over the past couple years, what was it? I think the fingerprint, where you can unlock your actual phone with a fingerprint, that was like, that was insane. But Bob Lazar in the 80s, that's how he entered his building, on like an iPad device. So, and if you don't agree with that, every 6 months, guys, every 6 months, or I'll be every year. So this device that I'm on right now, in 1 year, will be like a dinosaur. Everything doubles. Think about that. There's not some guy or some kids or some women in a garage working on the next phone. They have this technology. They just do a slow drip just to keep the sheeple occupied and happy. It's all fact. It's not speculation. I'm pretty disappointed. I like air travel just because I'm staring at a airport. I find it's 2019 and it takes just as long as it did in the 60s to travel, which is insane to me. Selfish people. Yeah, 100%, Mikey. Many celebrities clone their dogs. That's a fact. Yeah, I mean, I believe Barbara Streisand. She was like one of the first to clone her dog. Um, but many people do. A lot of people say I think the first public white paper, it might be the Dalai Lama, but that's incorrect. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't read your full comment just because. Oh, a couple days ago, I read about that, Mikey. A, a a son is suing his dead father because the father was rich, and his head is inside of a freezer, and he wanted to be or he wanted to be frozen because he says if there's ever technology to bring him back, he wants to be brought back. And now that he's dead, his son is going against his will. But this was in the news over the past 48 hours. It's ironic you said that. Oh, Mikey says cures for everything. It's very. I know it's disgusting. Um, Come over here, Bush. Come over here. Um, do you guys remember Joe Biden? Joe Biden said, and I find this disgusting that he would even say, excuse me, that he would even say this, but he said, if he's elected president, he will find a cure for cancer. Come to find out, it started in 2017, guys. You could do, like I always say with every topic that, whatever I say that sounds somewhat interesting to you, always fact check me. But in 2017, they started trials, and rather than give somebody full chemo where it attacks everything, and it's all about the money, unfortunately. That's what I was looking at. So 2017 they started, and it's working. Same thing with this scientist, and he's as far as aging, right? I took sports and nutrition in high school and in college, but all that in reality, it's they always say it's genetics first, right? If you see a person who's super old, you're like, how do you live so long? My neighbor, he lived until he was 92 years old, and he's a vet. Meaning, he's been through stress. He wasn't just a couch potato. So genes, but it's not antioxidants you always hear about. And yeah, eating healthy, that is very important. But I mean, there's so much information out there about aging. It sounds crazy, but again, I won't say his name now. I will leave it in the description box. But over the next few years, I believe by 2025, aging, because they have this stuff now for it, aging will be considered a disease, guys. Think about that one. So you will go to your doctor and get a vaccine or whatever they do, but aging will be considered a disease. It's Rena Martin, there's a cure out there. My mom cured her stage 4 lung cancer. Wow, God bless her. And THC, don't get me started with that. It's disgusting how, again, I'm not telling anybody what to do. Be a law-abiding citizen, but just knowing, guys, you could look on YouTube of a child or a mother or a daughter or a brother having seizures, right? Seizures. And they're taking what, 6 different medications, 1 to sleep, 2 for appetite, and the list goes on. That's what Big Pharma does. Once you're hooked, it's like catching a fish. So now there's a plant, and what's exactly what you just said. It's not like you're giving even if you were to make the child a little bit high in low doses, but now you don't. It's beyond. They take out the THC, and it's just CBD, and within 30 seconds, guys, from a actual seizure, and knowing that it's still a class 1 drug in 2019 with that evidence is disgusting to me. Absolutely disgusting. I've never tried it, to be honest with you, but it's green flies. I've never tried it, but it's everywhere. And apparently I hear all CBD is not the same. I'm sorry guys, that's what I heard. All CBD, never tried it, but I heard some of it does not have THC, but people who have chronic pain or just like, I know some people who drink a glass of wine a night, right? Just 1 glass of wine with dinner or before bed. What's the difference between doing CBD or whatever? In my eyes, there is no difference. But I'm not the law or a politician. More and more states are finally legal. First, they're decriminalizing it, and second, I actually heard yesterday Illinois is the newest state. Starting January 1st, it will be legal to possess whatever their amount is. So much money. Oh, I lost my mother to breast cancer, and she was a Zumba instructor. She was super fit. Cancer and that shit does not discriminate. So again, I'm not saying just be a slob, but I'm just saying she was 48 years young, and she left God took her, and she had three young kids, and I still have the receipts. Thank God she was married to my father for their high school sweethearts, but I have the receipts, guys, and absolutely insane, the cost of chemo. And most people, they don't really understand what chemotherapy is. Like we all heard of chemo, right? But seriously, like we all heard of chemo. I mean, everybody's different age here, but prior to going with my mother and getting her treatment, I had no idea that they make chemo is they make your batch that morning. So it's not like, oh, you have breast cancer, you have this cancer. They take tests and they actually make your batch that morning. So, but chemo is it's ridiculous. Even something prescription drugs. I noticed a huge difference. Thank God I don't take anything. My grandmother, she's on 4 different medications, and Trump, the prices were slashed more than half, guys, more than half. I don't know if any of you guys pick up medication for a loved one, but more than half. And America's 5% of the world, but 80% of medications Americans are on, right? We make up 5%, but 80%. of medications um, Americans are on. So that number is insane. I'm reading comments. NASA. Yeah, he's mine. Thank you. Um, Obviously, we all know about Hitler. Guys, Operation Paperclip. Operation Paperclip. Again, people heard of it, I should say, but we had the top guys, and they infiltrated our medical system. They infiltrated our space system. Everyone knows von Braun because obviously space, but where do you think MK Ultra came from? The Germans. And it's still going, again, like I said, it's still going on till this day under a different op. Again, MK Ultra, at least as hard as sleep deprivation for up to a month, giving LSD to prisoners, which is absolutely disgusting and inhumane. But at least you knew that somebody was doing something to you. In 2019, with technology and other ways, the sad thing is, again, it's still going on, and you don't know. So the doctor would either think you're crazy. It's horrible, absolutely horrible. And cancer, it changes you. Whenever you lose a parent, it obviously changes you, but I just look at life a lot different. I was always a humble person, but it really changes you, especially when you lose. I don't care what age you are. A parent is a parent. Like my father, he recently lost his mother, and but when you lose a mother when A, she's young, but B, when younger, my younger brother basically has zero recollection of my mother, which is super sad. That's how young he was. But am I buffering? Five by five. What did LG say? Brian says, I'm a targeted. I'm sorry to hear that, Brian. How are you, Princess Joyce? Speaking about 5G, guys, or not, nobody said 5G, I said it, but somebody mentioned that I was buffering. I told you, the #1 city in America is San Diego, the #1 smart city. But that being said, they're making smart cities without telling people. Even in rural areas, guys. Again, 5G is not just for cell phones, like a lot of people think. 5G, it's for transportation. Ford, they no longer make. I believe in next year, in 2020, I believe it started, or 2019. But no more vehicles, only SUVs and pickup trucks. And believe it or not, guys, it's going to be mostly autonomous sooner than later. That's how quick it is. They're putting the technology in the vehicle, just like what Tesla did. Not Elon, or should I say Elon Musk. just like what he did, and nobody knew that it was in there because it's not approved yet for the highway. But there's videos of individuals passed out, guys, on the highway. I don't know if you guys ever saw that, like passed out. That's crazy. And you could even, like, if you come out your front door, you could even hit a button where, if you have a garage, where your car actually pulls up to you. Like, that's crazy. Knight Rider. Think about, like, from 1900, the year 1900 to 2000, things really didn't change, too much. But think about from year 2000 to year 3000. It's crazy how fast technology is moving. It really is. And there's more people in the chat room, but when the reason for this video was speaking about designer babies and how they're doing this already now. Is it moral? Is it would you do it under certain circumstances? But in the future, guys, it's going to be like cell phones. When they first came out, everybody had to age. A lot of people said they weren't going to give their child a cell phone until they got to high school. But now, younger and younger, because now it's surveillance. So now, and you can limit stuff, right? You don't have to have the internet on there, but you know where your child is at all times. So the days of when I was a kid, when you said you were going to sleep over X's house and can't hide from technology. Even it's funny that I brought that up because somebody yesterday, they were speaking about as a kid just ringing a doorbell and taking and running off. Now 40% of the people, 40% of my neighbors, they have smart doorbells. It's crazy. Mikey, my dad was the oldest of 4 boys. Wow. 10 brothers. And that's the good part about having a larger family, right? I guess there's pros and cons to everything. So if you're the only child, you're dealing with stuff by yourself. But even if you just have one sibling, hopefully you guys get along, right? You wanna go this way? QSNs. Oh, I was just about to read that. Anything else, guys? Whew. Yeah, who said that? Michael? Who? I'm sorry, just because of the way I have my phone, the comments are going. Who's the TI, and when does that happen to you? If you don't mind mentioning it. Sue, how are you? Boob tube, I know, unfortunately. Ooh. 24/7. Now, again, you don't. It's up to you, but you don't have to get into details. But a couple of things. How did you figure out your TI? And two, were you out of work? Meaning, were you? Again, you don't have to say numbers or anything. But were you on some type of social security? I just put a video out about that on my Patreon page. Um, one of the actual doctors who worked on it. And just like with everything in like the military and a lot of stuff, you don't ask questions. So you could think you're doing something good, and next thing you know, they're using it for not so much. Yeah, Brian. Yeah, that's what that Joyce. That's what I wanted to see. Was he in the military or um, either military or I noticed people who um, are, how should I say this, like on social security or other government assistance, should I say. I noticed that not just from myself, but from the actual doctor. Damn, brother, sorry to hear that. Again, you don't have to get into specifics, but hopefully, is there anything that that you could do that helps out? And you don't have to mention it, but is there anything that that, that you could do to make it better? Brian. I'm very open-minded. I'm very open-minded. Once you become, and again, everybody's different, but there's some crazy shit out there. There really is. So, yeah, I believe you too, Brian. Thank you for your service, brother. So, are you in Dallas? Yeah, correct, Sue. Correct. 100%. Sue. And there's a video right now on my Patreon page that the doctor who helped make this technology, he was interviewed by a gentleman who was friends with this guy, and the guy wrote a book, and I'm not here to confirm or deny, but if you watch that video. So, 20 years service, retired. I'm just reading comments. Sorry to hear that, brother. I really am. Hopefully there's something you could do, or frequency Trevor, you just took the words out of my head. Not out of my mouth, out of my head. I was just thinking about that. 100%, dude. I was up all night watching the historic launch, off topic, but going through comments, and 100% stationary. Again, show me proof, not you specifically, obviously, we're on the same page, but for all the doubters, show me proof. Again, there's no real picture of Earth as a whole. Trust me, I'm not a flat earther. I'm not. But it's okay to say I don't know. But I'm not a ball earther. 100%, guys. 100%. Brian, he said he was there to take it. It's so weird, Joyce. A lot of the autoimmune diseases they're becoming more and more common, even in younger people, like gout, for instance. Back in the day, they said gout was typically somebody who drank a lot and obese. That's not the case. A lot of these doctors, and again, I'm not blaming the doctors, just like, if you weren't taught something, how are they supposed to know? Obviously, everything's part of the NWO. Not to sound too crazy, but how are you? Thank you. Yeah, so if the doctors don't know, just like, again, I use Morgellons because anyone could look that up. But for years, guys, people were put on psych meds, and it's one thing saying you hear something, but fibers coming out of your skin. And now it's finally classified in the CDC as a disease. But think of all the people who suffered or just... That's why you always get a second opinion. And if you have something super rare, there's trust me, guys. Well, I don't know where you guys live, but that's the one advantage of living, not in a major city, but close enough to a major city, because due to the amount of doctors and treatment. Like when my mother was getting cancer, guys, she was treated at, all these bugs on me. She was treated at over in Philadelphia, and I met people from all over the world. All over the world. You guys want to end it with anything? I got about a 4-mile hump back. Does anyone YouTube iCoin? God bless you, dude. Year-old. Well, Mikey, there's a few doctors who are outspoken about that, and I'll just say that they're no longer here. But obviously, anyone can research. But I hate to break it to you. I mean, you could do. I mean, there's whatever you want to do, but all the research that I did, there's zero how anybody can stop it. Even if you had unlimited money, you can damper it down. And you also have to take so many things. There are, a few things if you're on a budget, that the biggest thing, it's metals. So very toxic. Even your pets. I see more and more pets that look a little bit loopy, and pets, especially dogs, detox of heavy metals. Enslaved by no media. I heard of. Where the hell did I hear that? I definitely heard of that one. Who said that? Enslaved by no media. Hold on, I'm sorry. Enslaved by no media, because I definitely, isn't it? I believe, again, I could be wrong, but I definitely heard of it. I think it's a boyfriend and girlfriend, and I think the girl, she, at one time, she worked for InfoWars as a reporter. I could be wrong about her job description, but I heard a lot of good things about that channel. Enslaved by no media. I definitely will check it out. Aluminum, barium, strontium, no good. Enslaved by no media. I definitely heard of it. And Trevor says, meditate. Listen, I was a person, again, I told you guys probably half hour ago, in high school, then in college, sports and nutrition, right? So don't smoke, don't drink, probably twice a year for holidays or whatever. But again, I'm a bigger guy, and I was always into wrestling, and if you're not sweating or if you don't feel anything. But again, going back to losing my mother and how it changes you as a person, I never looked down on yoga or anything, but I became just super spiritual. You could say that, I guess. And it's the individuals out there with, just say the doctor says, oh, you can never run again. Now that's in your psyche. Oh, just because the doctor told you could never run again, you're never going to run? You know how many times I heard stories where a doctor says you'll never run again, you'll never walk again. And not only are they walking, but they're actually doing, they're serving their country. They're able to kick ass still. So it's whatever you believe in, folks. Again, it might sound corny to certain people, but exactly what Joyce, I believe Joyce said it. Mind over matter, right? It really is. Speaking of that, there's his name's Hoffman. He lives near Sweden, and he lost his wife to suicide, and I believe he had 4 kids. Anyway, make a long story short, he went through major depression, obviously, but anyway, he started, it's called the Hoffman, where he climbed Mount Everest in a pair of shorts. And this is all scientific evidence. You guys go look it up. It sounds crazy, but when you shock your body to extreme temperature, from cold to hot, like going from a hot tub to a cold pool, that I can't think of the scientific right this second. I got a lot of things on my plate, terminology, but you guys probably heard of this guy, the Hoffman, because he came over here. He did multiple podcasts. Um, he's the only person in the world who was injected with a strand of flu, and just by breathing and meditating. Again, it sounds corny, but when you watch him do it, and every single night, he never had one doctor, not one doctor on his side prior to all the doctors, and it took years for this. Again, he's not a U.S. Citizen. It took years for the paperwork to go through, so he can't sue. But he first human ever recorded just by breathing and meditating. And again, I'm a documentary guy, and it's the human body is amazing. I'll just put it that way, guys. Again, it might sound very corny to people listening now, especially if you're if you like to work out or if you're a runner, but amazing stuff. I just love anything with health, and amazing story too. Now he's out there helping others. Brian, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm reading the comments now. As far as that goes, I mean, there's a couple at Denver Airport in Georgia, Guidestones. These are recent, meaning recent, where allegedly it says it right on it. Again, Denver. These are just two that I know of that are recent, but it's in history books. But right this second, at the Denver International Airport and the Georgia Guidestones, it says the Georgia Guidestones that they do not have a date, but it says time capsule to be open. Again, the date is there's no date on there, so. All right, guys, I'm getting bit up by mosquitoes, and I got a 4-mile humpback. Appreciate the chat. You guys are absolutely amazing. Burn green wood or brush, they break up. That's amazing. Appreciate that. Q. North of me, if Trump comes to. All right, my father's age, Trevor. All right, Patriots. Have a good rest of your night. And I appreciate Brian sharing that story, because you didn't have to, and it's very personal. But I know myself, and my subs are amazing, and I'll send you positive energy, and I wish you the best, brother. And again, thank you for serving, and hope everything works out. Mikey, Tyler. Amazon is out of control. Speaking of Amazon, just real quick, I believe Mad Dog Mattis had a meeting. I don't want to, because I can't 100% confirm it. I'm like 90% sure that Mad Dog Mattis had a meeting with Amazon, with Bezos. You guys can look that up too. Where we go one, we go all. That's right. Appreciate the chat, guys. Q&A is awesome with you guys. Have a good night.